What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today I want to talk to you about a perfectly fair, honest, balanced move. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about why this move is so good. You guys all know the move is good, but really go into the nitty gritty on why this move is so good. And as usual, if you like all the guides, analysis, and everything else I've been putting on this channel, definitely take a sec to like this video or subscribe to the channel if you have not already done that. It does help the channel grow. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So this is UI Goku's quarter circle back H, 2 and 4 H. So this character has a lot of defensive mechanics and moves compared to other characters, but this is the one that stands out the most to me. Because unlike some of his other moves, like his Dragon Punch, which is 2-2, or his special knockdown reversal, I feel like his quarter circle back H, 2 and 4 H, has a little special sauce because it's not just the move being good, but it's also the game lets the move be good. So to start, we need to review the properties of the move. So the move itself is not super quick for a reversal. It's an 18 frame reversal that is unsafe on block, but he has air options, so this is actually landing recovery. This is an example of the game lying to you. So if he simply lands, you can time an attack so that you hit him, but he has air movement available. So if you try to block and hit it right away, you can't really do it. And because he has the air option available, he can choose to do his air version of it. So normally in the context of the game, this looks really strong, but this is what we call a 4-frame reversal in Dragon Ball FighterZ. So unlike his reversal Dragon Punch or other characters' level 3 reversals, this move you see, 2 and 4H, can be hit on startup. This is pretty important to remember for later. Now that we've gone over just the initial properties of the move that you need to know, let's actually look at why this move is so different compared to other 4 frames in the game, because there are a lot. Dragon Ball FighterZ really likes giving characters 4 frames as a way to give them a defensive option that they can't just do all the time, but you have a lot of opportunities to do them when there are gaps, and the game is made for this. If you were to look across the character select screen, a lot of characters in this game, which has, I think, 42 characters, imagine knowing that number offhand, all have 4-frame reversals. I've gone through these characters in a video dedicated on the 4-frame reversal in general, which I included in the description below. So let's move on to what makes this move so good compared to the other 4 frames. So way number 1, you can't beat it the way you beat standard 4-frame moves. For example, a really good place to use a 4-frame reversal is after a Vanish. Vanish is a pretty common recurring situation in this game where the attacker is slightly advantageous, but not so much that the opponent can't sneak in a 4-frame reversal, and if you manage to do that, then you can try other stuff like mashing, jumping, and backdash. So a really common way of baiting 4-frame reversals is to backdash yourself. Now Ultra Instinct Goku in particular, his 4-frame is so huge that he catches your backdash, so you can't use that as an option. What do you do if you want to cover this move but you don't want to give up your options as well? You don't want to just dash up and block, which while it is a strong option in Dragon Ball, in this case, you're giving way too much power to the defender. You have a couple of options. You can be a super privileged character like Goku Black and just jab and recover, or you can try jumping to make it whiff. Jumping is not such a bad option, but if he jabs, he still takes his turn, but it's better than nothing. So this brings me to the next way, which is move is very fair and honest, and this is actually not about the move itself. This is an example of the game making it hard to deal with. So the previous example I used is off a slightly advantageous move. This is the Vanish. Now, that +2 number is pretty important because for the most part, it's the most frame advantage a character can get on the ground, usually without assists. This game has designed its attacks advantage and disadvantage in a very purposeful way, and for the most part, characters don't have moves that are more advantageous in +2, and if they have moves that are worse than -5, then it's usually really big swings like heavy attacks, moves that look like they should be punishable. If a character has a move that's more advantageous than this, then it's usually pretty slow. Bardock, as an example, his Tyrant Lancer is +4, but it's 26 frame startup. So it's not a fast attack by any means, but it's very advantageous. What happens if UI Goku tries to do his 2 and 4H after Tyrant Lancer? you just punch him. It's a 4-frame reversal. Similarly, another limitation that characters have is that you could only jump cancel moves on block and sparking, compared to other Arc System Works games where usually a character has at least one jump cancelable move they can use on block. Now, if you could jump cancel, you'd be able to bait this move pretty easily. Because of restrictions like these, it makes the move much harder to deal with than it would be if it was in another game. Another way that this move is totally fair and honest and balanced is the fact that it is a 4-frame. So remember, way at the beginning of this video, I said that 1-frame reversals are different than 4-frame reversals, and it's when does the invincibility activate. If it was a 1-frame reversal, like his 2-2S, there would be two very important different things about the move. So one, all the life would be recoverable. Frame 1 reversals, you can get the life back using sparking, tag, things like that. And 2, and you can hear me mashing it, you can't call assists on frame 1 invincible moves. So since this is a frame 4 invincible move, you are able to call assists with it. This harkens back to a much darker time in the game where adult Gohan and other characters who had DPs could do their invincible frame 1 DP and then call an assist. They took this out of the game because that shit's kind of cheap. There's no other way of putting it. That shit's pretty stupid. Imagine having to bait this move and then having to block this move after. You would not be so happy. So the only reason he's able to call assists after is because it's not invincible right away. And in the case he does hit you with it, since it's not a frame 1 reversal, not all the life is recoverable life. So with that, we reach the final point, which is another point about the game, not the move. So again, the move itself is a strong option, especially paired with all his other defensive options. But again, a lot of the strengths of this move come from how the game works. So the final problem comes from knockdowns. Dragon Ball is a game where you can vary your knockdown timing quite a bit. So not only do you have 3 different types of knockdowns, but for 2 of them, the soft knockdown and the sliding knockdown, which is generally shown by an animation cinematic like that, you have a lot of control on how you get up. While soft knockdown is pretty rare, the sliding knockdown is quite common. And off the sliding knockdown, you have options like flipping up in the air from the ground, also known as the up tech. Your standard tech where you flip backwards, we call it the back tech. Getting up in place instead of flipping backwards, which we call the neutral tech. And you have the option to tech on the ground, so you can make your character lay on the ground. So being able to lay on the ground is strong, but generally in other games, there's like one set timing when you delay like that. But in Dragon Ball, you can delay your timing as much or as little as you want. This brings us to our final problem with this move. When you knock Ultra Instinct Goku down, he has a lot of control on when he can get up and do a reversal. He could do his special reversal that you hold Dragon Rush to do. He could do a counter and do it right away or off delay tech. You don't know what he's going to pick and when. If you don't have a really specific way and plan of knocking him down, then it's really hard to control him once you do that. So all these things, in my opinion, the really big problems come from the way the game works more than anything else, but they released this character pretty late. He's a Season 3 DLC character, so by now, I know the devs understand how the game works itself, what 4-frame reversals mean for characters, and I think this is pretty much done on purpose. But in the show, you know, he wins from defense. Defense too. So it makes sense he has a bunch of extra defensive moves that other characters don't have. All I gotta say is don't blame the player, blame the game. It's the game's fault that this is like this. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.